Okay guys, we're here. We're back for another video. We're here for the first of two Bellator events that are happening this weekend, and we're going to start off with Bellator 231 with the two most high profilic fights that are on this card, and we're going to start off with the light heavyweight division right away. The first fight we got is previous top title contender of the UFC and previous champion of the light heavyweight division of Bellator, and we're talking about Phil, Mr. Wonderful Davis, and he is going up against Sweden's own Albrektsson. This is a mismatch. I'm sorry, it just is. Because Albert is a predominant striker, and that is great if you're gonna fight someone that's only a predominant striker, but you were going up against Mr. Wonderful. While he's significantly longer than you, he's also a significantly more well-rounded mixed martial arts and a phenomenal, elite, world-class leveled wrestler, which you're just not gonna be able to put up with, so I don't even know why this video is on in the first place. Just kidding. I'm not though, for real, you're gonna die. I just think Albert, to be honest, when we look at his resume, while it is impressive for the amount of fights that he does have on his resume, the high caliber opponents cease to exist at all, where Phil Davis, obviously he's been fighting top contenders his whole career and dominating King Mo, Liam McGeary twice, Linton Vassell, Emmanuel Newton, Francis Carmon, Glover Teixeira, and the list goes on. I'm sorry, but I'm just gonna wrap it up here. Your keys to victory, Albert, is to go in there and go in there wild, go in there real fast. As soon as you find an opening though, as soon as he's about to engage and you are ready to counter, fill that counter with like 30 fucking strikes, and hopefully you get lucky and catch Phil Davis off, because that's the only reason the only way you're gonna win here. You're not gonna wrestle him, so the only chance you have of winning this fight is to knock him out. I'm not saying you can't do that, you can, but that chance is gonna be very slim to none, especially if Phil Davis is taking this fight seriously. As a world-class wrestler, his keys to victory here, well, he could use the strikes because he's long and he's a pretty damn good striker, but it's to smother you. It's to just make you understand what it's like to go against a world-class high caliber wrestler like Phil Davis and a previous high caliber top contender in the UFC division. Just let him know this is a complete mismatch. Smother you, take you down with the wrestling, and inevitably either get that ground and pound or get a submission. That's just what I'm gonna say here, and I think it's probably gonna happen in the end of the first and the early second round. Now when we go to the main event, we have two heavyweights. I'm running through this because these two heavyweights, while they have huge names and big legend status behind them, that legend ability and any kind of momentum and worthiness to be in the cage is long gone. We're talking about Roy Nelson going up against Frank Mir. A waste of my time. Roy Nelson, headlining the card, is on a 3-fight losing streak. Frank Mir, also meeting him on the other side of the cage, who's also on a 4-fight losing streak, is also headlining the card, obviously because they're fighting each other. But Frank Mir, you are so far done. It's absolutely ridiculous. He used to be a man with a significant chin, and now every time he touches, he folds like origami. And I think that could be what's happening here. But Mark Hunt, Fedor Emelianenko, and then Javi Ayala punched you into submission in your second Bellator outing. Wow, Bellator is not going well for you, and I just think MMA is not going well for you anymore, and I think this is the time to retire. I get why you're taking this fight, because you're also taking another over-the-hill type of fighter in hoping that you can re-catch some of that fame and that glory before you hang up your gloves for good. But Roy Nelson, although on a 3-fight losing streak, he still has stupid knockout power and a stupid chin. He only had one knockout loss in his last couple fights, and it was against Sergey Kharitonov, who's a huge man, and it was coming via his knee to Roy's chin. Nobody is surviving that. But nonetheless, these guys are gonna have the same style fight when they go out there. And the reason why I say that is because they're both high caliber Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts. But do you think they're gonna use them? No. Do you think they ever try to use them? Well, Frank Mir did, but as of lately, no, they're gonna go in there and slug, and that is a huge mistake, especially for Frank Mir. Frank Mir, I hope you're smart, because your keys to victory here is exactly the opposite of what you've been showing lately, and that's take it to the ground right away. You're significantly stronger than him, and because Roy Nelson has that thing called a belly that's like in the way, I think you are going to be able to totally tire him out and inevitably probably get a submission, or at least just trap him so you can actually lay some ground and pound until the ref pulls you off of you. But Roy Nelson, you're just gonna have to keep the distance and use your striking. Get that overhand right ready and get that uppercut ready, because when Frank Mir engages, as soon as you touch him, I believe the fight's over. And I believe the fight's gonna end real fast in the first round. And if I'm gonna have to say who wins wins this fight, it's going to be Roy Nelson via first round, devastating knockout. First of all, they both shouldn't be in this fight to begin with, but if I'm going to have to pick one, I just think that one is over the hill in Roy Nelson and one is way, 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 way over the hill and not facing reality, and reality being you should retire, and that is Frank Mir. I'm sorry, but Frank Mir, I think you're going to get devastatingly knocked out. If you prove me wrong, congratulations. I'll give you a Y5 later, but until then, I'm sorry, I think you're going to die. Love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in to watch the video. Get ready because I'm also going to post get ready because I'm also going to post Bellator 232, which is happening the following night. Love you guys. See you next week. Peace.